Jungkook came inside late and dragging Vine by holding her shoulder, and Jin was following her continuously, saying to stop. Soon they stopped when they saw Vine's father standing there. Smirked Vine, which got noticed by Vine. Jungkook left her hand slowly and taking a chance she ran towards her father and hugged him tightly, and he hugged her back, seeking his daughter's love. Both father and daughter looking at the stairs where Jungkook was coming down, saying, such an emotional scene, isn't it? Pam looked at him and he was sending glares, but Mr. Kim was standing there nervous because he knew no matter what, Jungkook is the king of Dark World who is capable of taking 100 down at once. Jungkook, but it could have been better emotional when he will bury his daughter from his own hand. Who will get? Jin looked at Jungkook with cold expression, and Mr. Kim had goosebumps just by listening to those words about his daughter. Jungkook read and again said, hard, isn't it, Kim? It's hard to listen about your daughters just like that. Think how hard it was for me to bury three loved ones in the grave with my own hands. Jungkook looked at Vine, whose eyes were down because again she felt pain by listening to him. Jungkook smirked. How did you felt when I called you and told you to come and take? Vine and Jin immediately looked at Jungkook with wide eyes. Well, that's what he said. He called Kim and said, Vine, you did what? Vine was about to approach him, but Mr. Kim held her hand and shook his hand in denial. Vine could see her father's red swollen eyes, and there she knew he cried by listening to her daughters. Jungkook, I didn't lie though. I called you to come and witness joy in front of your eyes. Jin and remaining all were shocked by listening to him, and that's when Jungkook took out a gun and pointed at Vine, and Mr. Kim immediately came in front of his daughter, making Jungkook chuckle. Such a scaredy cat. Come on, don't waste time. Minds and it's time to end the game. Get your daughter at the front and feel the pain of losing a family. Jin Jungkook, stop this. You know Vine is innocent. Open your eyes. Jungkook, when did I said she is not, but she is the daughter of that person who took my family. Mr. Kim took a step forward and said, King, leave my daughter, please. I am the culprit here, not her. Vine was shocked listening to her father. Vine, father, what are you saying? Just tell him that you. Vine's father looked down and shamed Vine from Jungkook. Yes, Kim, go ahead and tell your daughter that you were the one who did this to it, so it can be easy for me. Mr. Kim looked at his daughter with sadness, and there she got her answer. She got cut by Jungkook's loud voice. Oh, cut the crap. How can you? How did you? The truth is, he did. Mr. Kim, please. I didn't knew that your family was inside the car. Jungkook. No one can change the fact that you did this. Mr. Kim, please leave my daughter, please. Jungkook was looking at him silently and then he smirked and said, you want your daughter to be safe, right? Mr. Kim nodded his head. Jungkook, on your knees and back. Van looked at Jungkook with a glare and he just smirked. Van, you don't have to do that, Dad. No, but it was late when she saw Mr. Kim went on his knees and said, I beg in front of you, King, please leave my daughter. She is innocent. He stayed like that for a few seconds. But when Jungkook said, there is no fun in it, I'm not pleased. Take this gun and yourself and I myself will leave your daughter at your doorstep. Simple. Van looked at Jungkook shocked and Mr. Kim also became nervous. Jungkook signaled his guard and he gave a gun to Mr. Kim. Van, No, Dad, don't. Please don't. Jungkook was smirking and Vine was holding her dad's hand, but soon Mr. Kim took a wrong step. He pointed that gun at Jungkook. Jin came forward to protect Jungkook, and every guard became alert. Kim, he was frightened. Jungkook, tell your guards to clean my way. I'm taking my daughter. Jungkook, there is only one way. And take her away. Sorry, but how will you when there is no bullet inside? Mr. Kim got shocked and pressed the trigger, but there was nothing. Jungkook, you seriously think that I will leave you and your daughter like that? I'm the game here. I'm the mastermind. Soon a guard came and hold one hand and separate her from her father and started dragging her upstairs, and another guard hold Kim. Wine was out of their sight now, Mr. Kim. Jungkook, I'm sorry. I didn't know your family was inside. Those Italians, they used me. Please leave my daughter. She has nothing to do with it. Jungkook was about to say something but paused for some time and said, fine, I will leave your daughter. Jin and Mr. Kim looked at him shocked. Mr. Kim, seriously, you are not lying, right? Jungkook, do I look like I'm lying? But before that, you have to do something. All of them looked at Jungkook. That's when Jungkook told Mr. Kim that he will only leave Ian when Mr. Kim will tell him all the details regarding Italian Mafia game and will help him finding him so that he can take his revenge. Mr. Kim agreed because he also wanted Italian to pay for what they did and he himself was guilty. Soon Mr. Kim left from there but he asked Jungkook to not to hurt Jungkook. Well, Jungkook didn't say anything in return but Jin told him that he will take care of Ian. After a few minutes, Jungkook came inside Ryan's room, and as soon as he entered, a hard slap landed on his face. He looked at her with cold, dark gaze. He was unbothered, making her more annoying, and that's when she again slapped him on his face. But still, he was standing in front of her like a man of steel. She again raised her hand to slap him, but this time he held her hand in air. She glared at him and started pulling her hand back, but he didn't let her win. Van, leave my hand, you monster! But still he didn't. Soon Van jerked her hand, getting free from his grip. Anne was angry on him a lot that she was ready to punish him anyhow. She was frustrated now because she wanted to leave from here. But she didn't knew who already talked to her father. Jungkook, listen to me. Why didn't listen to him? She saw a gun in Jungkook's front pocket and without thinking, she took that gun from his pocket and pointed at him. Jungkook rolled his eyes and thought that she is just as dumb as well. Jungkook looked at her and started taking steps towards her. Van, don't come close and leave my way. But Jungkook was looking at her with cold gaze. Why I said don't. She saw that he was unbothered, so she said, fine, if you are not allowing me to go, then it's better than leaving in this. Saying that, Vine pointed the gun in her forehead, making Jungkook nervous. His eyes became wide open and curved and said, don't be an idiot, put the gun down and slowed it. Vine didn't listen to him and closed her eyes and he became scared. His expression was showing that he was getting worried. Worried for the one to whom he wanted to. Why he was getting worried for her, he himself wanted to do that. Jungkook looked at her that she closed her eyes and was about to pull the trigger, but as she pressed the trigger, a sound of gunshot was heard. Jungkook's eyes widened and Vine opened her eyes and saw that Jungkook was holding her hand and the location of gun was at the ceiling. She saw a hole in the ceiling. She looked at Jungkook who was shooting glares at her and as soon as he was about to burst on her before that she fainted and Jungkook threw the gun and pulled her in his arms. He looked at her closed eyes and started tapping on her cheeks. Jungkook whined, "Open your eyes," but she was not responding. He picked her up in his arms and ran towards the bed. He made her lay down and sat beside her. He looked at her face without him knowing. His fingers went towards her face and he put some hair strands at the back of her ears. He moved closer to her face and gently kissed her cheeks with the back of his hand, her eyes to her cheeks, cheeks to her jawline. He was tracing his fingers while admiring her. Soon his attention got diverted towards. He gulped down the lump in his throat. He moved his thumbs from her cheeks towards, and then he touched at the corner of her lips. Jungkook's left. A whisper left from his mouth, and it's like that he found himself drowning in the ocean of her attraction, and he was going forward to seal his rough ones to her soft ones. It was just a matter of seconds, but before that, a loud thought disturbed him and bring him back in his beast world, and he saw it was Jung. Jungkook, what happened? A guard told me that they heard a gunshot from the room. Did you hurt her? Jungkook glared at the guard who looks down and then he looked at Jin who was looking at Wang. She is fine until her dad do what I said. Saying that he took a last glance on her and left the room, but little did he know that Jin saw him in that position with Wang and what was he up to? First he cared for her and was feeling something and then out of nowhere he is back in his usual self. Jungkook came inside his room and shut the door loudly and brushed his ears at the back of her hand. He took a deep breath and sat down on the bed and closed his eyes. Jungkook was getting angry on himself, but moreover he was nervous because he knew if he faced that situation again, maybe he will lose his control. Jungkook, just remember one thing, Jeon. She is the daughter of the one whom you have to take revenge. You and her never. Jungkook closed his eyes again, but the image of Fine holding the gun at her came in front of him, and he sat on the bed and held his face between his head. Don't worry, Hang will handle her. You just make her comfortable here without facing her, and she won't take any step again. Jungkook was getting worried for her that she might take the step again, but again he thought, why would he be worried for her? Things were messing up in his mind and he wanted to clear, but his mind was saying something else, and his heart was saying something else, and between them he was becoming mad. Time skipped after an hour. One looked up and Jin approached her. She what happened, and Jin also told her about what happened when guards dragged Vine inside the room. Vine, so you mean to say that I'm safe here, and as soon as my dad will do his work, then Jin chuckled and nodded his head and said, yes, but you have to make sure that you will not repeat like running away and trying to harm yourself. Because all this will make Jungkook angry and you know what he can do. Vine rolled her eyes and said, I'm not scared of him anymore. Jin raised his eyebrows and said, looks like someone is becoming bold now. Vine smiled a little and said, I slapped him twice. Jin's jaw dropped. And he did nothing. Vine looked at him and said, you should praise me. Jin, tell me he did nothing. Vine went in past and remembered how blankly he was standing in front of her, and when she pointed gun at herself, he became worried. Vine, no, he didn't. Jin smirked and Van was confused. They continued their talk, but little did they know Jungkook was outside hearing them and he touched his cheeks where Van slapped him twice. He shook his head and went from there. More up and down is about to come in their life. Their life will definitely take a turn where both of them will face different situations and maybe will get along to some situations. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for the next part.